The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, West End Fire and Rescue, Idaho, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 38285. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation. Starting first with the front of the vehicle, we'll start at the roof line. Located at the top of the roof line at the brow is where you'll find 5 identification clearance lights. Moving up onto the roof of the apparatus, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Moving now to the front grille of the International, you'll find the Pierce logo and then 2 emergency warning lights on each side of the grille area. As we move into the bumper area in the cutout, you'll find an open-ended tow hook. Also on the outer edge of the bumper, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker, headlight structure, and turn indicator. Moving now up onto the forward portion of the hood, where you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light and unit identifier. Also the air inlet located on this side, along with an air horn. On top of the fender, you'll find a turn indicator marker light. The front axle is housing aluminum wheel and Michelin tires. Moving now to the upper portion on the A-pillars, where you'll find your flat mirror and convex mirror. Easily accessible with a gloved hand, these are your door lock and latch. They are keyed. Moving now inside the cab, fixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information. As we move to the floor of the base of the seat, it's where you'll find the master battery switch, quarter turn for on, quarter turn for off. As we move just below that area at the base of the seat, it's where you'll find the Pierce placard indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, and cold tire inflation. This also houses all the information regarding the vehicle's components, fluid, and fluid capacity. Moving just to the right of that location, when plugged into Shoreline Power, the auto charger will indicate battery status. Moving now to the seat itself, it is an air ride. There are controls located on the left-hand side of the seat and also forward section of the seat. Moving now to the dash area. Let's start in the upper left-hand corner of the dash, starting with the hazard lights or 4-way flasher. Also moving up to some switches, you'll find the exhaust brake, off-road traction control, your transmission mode, auto neutral, differential, and 4-wheel drive locks. Moving to the right, you'll find the filter minder for your air intake for your engine filter. Moving to the right, the air horn push button. Moving down to the lower left-hand side, you'll find a switch indicating OK. That is a control module for the information within your dash cluster. Just below that, you'll find your ignition switch. Moving to the right, AM/FM radio. Moving further down, 12-volt access via barrel style and also USB. And then to the further far right-hand side lower portion, yellow diamond, which is your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. Let's go back over the switches a little bit closer, starting at the very top with the exhaust brake, off-road traction control, your trans mode for your Allison transmission, auto neutral, 4-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive, and then high and low differential lock. This is going to be your ignition switch. Moving down from that, the control module for your dash information, filter minder and air horn. Further down to the 12-volt access via barrel style USB. Rear spring brakes, this is your parking brake. Moving now to the dash console. First, starting at the very top, these are going to be your switches for emergency and also upper warning and side warning and lower zone. High idle and also your OK to pump indicator switches and all tally lights, and below that driver scene lights. At the very bottom, additional warning placard information regarding spare wiring. Here's some close-ups of those switches here, starting at the top with emergency lights, side warning lights, and upper rear warning, and along with lower zone. High idle, OK to engage your high idle indicator, air horn, and also additional tally lights. all of your driver and passenger side floodlights, and also rear scene. Pump engaged, PTO for indicators at the top, and then also the engaged switch. At the very top, red indicating do not move your apparatus if the light's flashing, and also seatbelt information. To the rear of the seat area, you'll find box lights with chargers. Moving to the exterior, you'll find the blue cap, which is your DEF fill location, and then also the silver cap just to the right of that location. It's the ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. Close up here of the DEF tank cap and fill location, and then also your ultra low sulfur diesel. Just up from this location is the extended portion of the cab with a roll-up compartment door. As we move inside, you'll find a compartment with adjustable shelf and LED lighting. Moving now to the exterior pump panel area, let's start first with a few things on the pump panel area. First, at the top vertical wall, you'll find a side-facing pole light, which is your scene light. Booster line access at the very top section. And then just down from that, forward is where you'll find your crosslay for crosslay 1 and crosslay 2. Both of these are foam capable, indicating in the red text. Moving just to the right into the gray area, master intake and also master discharge. Between the two of those are the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They are currently plugged and are utilized for testing purposes. Let's move back to the crosslays. Crosslay 1 and crosslay 2, once again foam capable. Quick shot of the pump panel area. We'll start first with the valves on the left-hand side. Driver rear discharge, crosslay 1 and crosslay 2. All three of these are foam capable. Moving now to the placard for your Foam Pro 2001 foam system specifications, real discharge and deluge discharge. Let's move just to the right of this location. We'll identify a few items with this speaker located in the upper portion. This is an audible alarm. It does rotate for additional volume control. To the right, pressure throttle governor, switch panel, and indicator for OK to pump. Full view of the switch panel, and we'll move down just slightly to the left where you'll find the driver 1, 2, 3, and 4 discharges. These are all color-coded and labeled and are not foam capable. As we move down, you'll find the Foam Pro module, foam level indicator, and then just to the right, you'll find a water tank level indicator. Moving just down to the right-hand side, we'll find the engine cooler. That's a twist, not a pull. Fire pump primer, push to prime, air prime, at least 1,000 RPMs for best practices. And then tank fill recirculating line. Also a warning regarding entanglement hazard because the line's coming from the crosslay, possibility of entanglement. Also an additional warning placard here indicating pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Just to the right, you'll find your tank to pump. And as we move across the very bottom section of the pump panel, you'll find a 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet, minimum operation maintenance schedule. Pierce American Flag Eagle is your large diameter driver's side inlet. The power fill system for your Foam Pro foam system. Moving further down, you'll find a warning placard here indicating that only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. Also, just below that, all of our drains, color-coded and labeled. Just underneath that, you'll find the Watrous placard indicating the type of pump that you have. And as we move to the very far right, you'll find the pump drain. Just below that, you'll find a pan door lift and turn latch gains you access into this pan door area. Down in the lower left-hand corner, you'll find the driver's side auxiliary inlet drain. Close up here of the inlet. Just to the right, close up of the foam fill system. And now as we look inside the pan door at the very bottom right side, This is for your foam operations for calibration and flush, and also inject. Moving now back to the warning placard. Once again, only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. Let's move down to the close-up here of the drains and Watrous placard. You have a capacity of 1,000 GPM. Down at the very bottom section, just underneath the running board, you'll find a pull-out step. And as we move now to the rear body section, we'll identify a few items. Let's take a look with all compartment doors in the open position. We'll start first in the upper left-hand corner. When plugged into Shoreline Power, both of these will be accessible. This is your air compressor to maintain brake pressure, and also your battery charger to maintain batteries. In the very top section, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. As we move downward, you'll find a pull-out tray. The release mechanism will be located on the right-hand side. Over wheel compartment, adjustable lighting and LED lighting. As we move just in front of the rear axle, lift and turn latch will gain you access into this space. This is just in front of the rear axle, where you'll find SCBA bottle storage for 2 bottles, along with straps for maintaining those bottles' security. Just in front of the rear axle, you'll also find a turn indicator marker light. At the very top of the wheel area is where you'll find a side-facing lower zone emergency warning light. To the rear of the axle, lift and turn latch will gain you access into this space for SCBA bottle storage for 2 bottles with retaining straps. As we move to the upper portion of the rear of the apparatus, side-facing scene light and also emergency warning light. Now moving now to the lower section of the rear compartment, where you'll find a pull-out tray down at the very bottom. Release mechanism is located on the right. At the very bottom, just under this compartment, is where you'll find the folding wheel chock storage location. To the rear of the axle, mud flaps, and now a full view of the rear of the apparatus. Let's move to the upper left, where you'll find an emergency warning light and then also a rear scene light. Moving just downward from this location is your license plate holder location. Underneath this is where you'll find the cupped switches, which for activation for your rear scene lights and also hose bed lights. Moving further down, starting at the top, emergency warning, brake, turn, and reverse. Also the location at the rear of the apparatus is where you'll find your Shoreline inlet auto eject 20 amp plug. Moving now to 2 fold down steps on the left vertical surface, along with some warning placards here indicating fall. When climbing on or off the vehicle, always face the vehicle. In addition, with a fall hazard warning, never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. And at the very bottom, you'll find a warning placard here regarding entanglement hazard. Because of the lines coming from aloft, there's the possibility of entanglement. As we move to the very bottom, on the vertical wall surface, you'll find a step that does fold down. And at the very rear section, a pull-out fold-down step just under the tailboard. Moving back up to the top, recessed is your traffic advisor, just below the or above the Pierce logo. And then also in the very center, you'll find a water level indicator. Rear discharge, foam capable. Ball valve for direct tank fill. D-handle gains you access to the very bottom section of this compartment for additional storage. Moving now back up to the right, where you'll find your D-handle gains access to the ladder storage location, housing a 14-foot roof, 24-foot, 10-foot attic, and 2 pike poles. Back to the right-hand side, where you'll find a emergency warning light and scene light, along with your emergency light, brake, turn, and reverse light. Now to the side of the vehicle on the passenger side. Pretty much the same configuration and layout as we've seen in the before, and we'll move through this relatively fast. Starting with emergency warning light and then also a side-facing scene light. All compartments open. To the very rear, you'll find a tool board. D-handle gains you access to the tool board. Once it is open, it will lock into position. This is the D-handle for accessing to open. Once it's open on the hinge side, you'll find a release mechanism for restoring back to its original stored position. Moving now to the over wheel compartment. Just below that, you'll find emergency warning light. To the rear of the axle area, you'll find SCBA bottle storage with retaining straps for 2 bottles. Just forward of this location is the overwheel lower zone emergency warning light. And then forward of this location, again, SCBA bottle storage lift and turn latch gains you access into this space with 2 retaining straps for your bottles. This is also the location of your diesel exhaust. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen operation. Be cautious where you choose to park your vehicle, especially during regen operations. Moving forward of the rear axle is where you'll find adjustable shelves, pull-out tray, release mechanism located on the lower right. Just under the front reel axle is where you'll find your exhaust ported. As we move to the mid section of the pump, let's start at the very top section with a pull light mounted on the forward bulkhead of the body. Also, you'll find your master stream device located within the dunnage area. Moving to the crosslays, where you'll find crosslay 1 and crosslay 2. Both of these are foam capable. Moving just down from this location is where you'll find the pan door to the upper portion of the pump panel for gaining access for visual inspection and pump maintenance. Also, you'll find in this compartment the foam drain and foam valve. Also, an additional warning placard here regarding entanglement hazard. Because of those lines in the forward section upper crosslays, there is the possibility of entanglement. There are 2 2.5-inch discharges located here on the passenger side, along with a pan door located on the left for gaining access into the pump panel area. This is your relief valve for your relief inlet. Pierce logo American flag eagle, large diameter passenger side inlet. Then just below that, all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Moving up from that location, pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. To the forward section, an additional step located here for gaining access to the crosslays. Now to the forward section of the cab, pretty much the same configuration and layout as we've seen on the driver's side as we'll have on the passenger side. Roll-up compartment door to the rear area. Just inside this compartment is where you'll find an LED light and then also adjustable shelving. There's also a shoreline inlet outlet located within here for 4 outlets. Moving now down to the very rear section, lift and turn latch will gain you access into this space. This is also not a step portion on the very top section. This is what houses the battery location. Moving to the A-pillar, you'll find your flat mirror and convex mirror. Moving into the officer door panel, where you'll find affixed to the door panel safety and warning placard information. Also, you'll find an adjustable seat controls within the seat itself. Moving now to the step area. And we'll go ahead and move to the forward hood latch area, where you'll find the release mechanism for your hood latches. Also, air inlet and air horn. On top of the fender area is where you'll find a marker turn indicator light. This is the latch for raising the hood both on the passenger and driver's side. To the front axle, Michelin tire Alcoa wheel. Now moving back up to the forward section, where you'll find unit identifier 554 and also side-facing emergency warning light. Back to the headlight structure, headlight, high and low beam, and turn indicator. Congratulations, West End Fire and Rescue Idaho, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 38285. Please utilize this job number when requesting any information regarding your vehicle. And if you have an additional information or requests, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.